when I married my husband, he was living in Haiti. He was a missionary in Haiti. And I knew that, so I knew that I would probably have to spend some time in Haiti. What I didn't realize was it was a little more difficult to leave my past behind than I thought it would be. There was a time period when Don and I and his two awesome kids moved to Haiti for a year. And we really had to pack up everything and go. So not only had I left my house and my job and my life to marry him, now I was having to leave the home that we had established here and pack up and move everything to Haiti. And I used to joke with God a long time ago. There's a scripture that says, "Take up your cross and follow me." And I always used to say, "Well, God, my cross comes with accessories." And we would laugh. We thought that was so funny. But I was losing my accessories. I was losing everything materially that I had held dear. And obviously, God doesn't want us to hold on to material things. So we pack up and we go to Haiti for a year. My husband and I did a meeting a few months ago called Unplugged. So why don't you listen to how I said it that way? Well, in 2007, I wasn't drinking. We moved to Haiti in October 23rd, 2007. It wasn't until 2008 that I started drinking. And I just had a very difficult time in Haiti. It's very hard. Everyone needs something. You know, I mean, he handles that much better than I do. But everyone needs something. And it was very hot. I mean, we lived in a house, and we had taken all of our belongings from Dayton, so we had really a beautiful home. But, you know, it'd be 106 degrees, and then I would be cooking over a propane stove and doing loads of laundry at 6 o'clock at night. You know, and I mean, I started to really get horrible fear over the heat. So I remember I didn't go out with him during the day because he went to far away places, and he was out all day, and I just couldn't do all that in the heat. So I would stay behind in the house. And I remember I would sit in that house or lay on the bed or whatever, and I would just watch the hours tick by. Wow. And I knew when the heat would start heating up. I mean, I was tormented by the heat. And then just this major depression set in. His daughter was a 10th grader at that point in time, so I was homeschooling Laura. And I was trying to do something that I'd never done before. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a homeschool teacher. I was never a parent, and it was very difficult coming into a marriage at 42 years old, raising two teenagers. Yeah. Well, Laura was 10, Michael was turning 14. I just wanted everything done by 8, you know, at 8 we're going to do this, by 8:30, 9:30 we're going to be a morning person and we're going to get it done. And Laura was doing homework at 11 o'clock at night. And I just couldn't deal with it. So I always say jokingly, you know, by 8 o'clock every morning one of us was in tears. And it was very stressful. And I remember taking a bath, slathering myself with all kinds of great smelly body spray, and then slathering myself up with bug spray. It was awful. I mean, every night, that's how I put my lotion on, and then I put my bug spray on. And then Mike lived with us for just a little while, and he went off to college. So Laura and Don were gun-ho, die-hard for Haiti. And I was gun-ho, dying hard. Yeah. That was just what I was doing. We would come home for breaks, and I was breaking during that time. And what did I do? I went back to alcohol. See, I went back to the crutch that I knew in my childhood. You see, God was raising me up for something, and the devil was tearing me down. See, the devil is not going to tempt me with gambling, pornography. he's going to tempt me with the very thing that I came out of. So when we came home for holiday, basically I would take alcohol back to Haiti with us. It started about 6 months in, and my depression worsened, so I would drink more alcohol. There was a period of time where my husband had to send me back home because I was just so utterly depressed that I couldn't function. Anyway, after a year, we moved back, and the depression worsened to the point where I was paralyzed. I couldn't leave the bedroom. And I do remember a day, it was so bad. It was right after we got back from Haiti. And I was laying in the bed with my Bible on my chest. And I couldn't speak, I couldn't pray. So I thought if I laid my Bible on my chest, maybe my prayers would translate to heaven. And if I could describe it physically, I laid in bed for 8 hours, and I felt like the devil was just pummeling me with his fists. He kept saying, "Who do you think you are? You're nobody. God doesn't love you. You're not going to become anything. You're wasting your time." 8 hours went on, nonstop. That was the lowest point that I've ever been in my entire life. So yes, the drinking accelerated. And I just remember I would just exhibit this outrageous behavior before my husband would leave for these trips. I was just like my mother. My mom had such outrageous behavior when she was drinking and drunk. And I was just like her. I mean, I was in such a storm, such a dark storm. There was no relief anywhere. There was no relief anywhere. My family didn't understand me. My friends had left me. I was all alone in this awful, awful storm. It was so dark, and I had threatened to leave him so many times. It's not because I wanted to leave him. It's because I felt like I needed to leave him because I was holding him back from achieving his destiny. I didn't know what to think.